Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ethan bringing you some more college basketball 22, and we're back for the start of our second year with the Arkansas Hogs here. Our first year, we didn't get fired, so that's good, unlike what happened at Arizona a couple episodes ago. So we're still here, and if you watch, we didn't have a great roster. We brought in Bruce Drexler here. He was a really good transfer, and he basically held it together so we didn't lose our job. So we kind of found Mike Blanks kind of as a standout two-star player. He's pretty good, but really we were just looking forward to getting to this recruiting class. So we ended up winning 20 games. We honestly did better than I thought, but now we're going to be able to bring in some more players. Hopefully some of these lower level guys transfer out so that way I can rebuild the roster a little quicker. But we should be able to have some quicker turnaround. We have, I already see 3 juniors, 4 juniors, so we're going to have at least 4 scholarships next year, plus anyone who transfers. So we're going to be able to make our mark on this program and, bring in the players that we need to win a national championship here. And in this save, they've won it recently, but they were not recruiting well. The previous coach recruited well during these years. The coach took over and won it with their recruits and hasn't been doing well. So we're trying to turn them around. It hasn't worked out for us at Clemson. It hasn't worked out for us at South Carolina. We're hoping this is our home where we finally have it. So without further ado, boys, let's go ahead and get into the start of the next year. I don't think we're a championship team next year, but I think we should be making progress towards that, and we should be able to bring in a nice batch of players that will help get towards that championship team, especially if this group here, they don't all go to the NBA, right? Hopefully, we should be able to keep these Jared and Andy for sure, but James York, he might go to the NBA after 1 year. We'll see, though. He's just on the borderline. But enough babbling on, guys. We don't need to do anything with the staff unless somebody gets a job offer here. So I'm going to go ahead and sim through that, and I will see you guys when we petition for probably better facilities. All right, boys. We got through the staff hiring. None of our assistants got poached here, so we're just going to have this meeting with the board. It's going to be simple. I think we have plenty of money. I didn't use nearly as much of the money as I thought I would, so we're going to ask for facility upgrades. Hopefully we can get boosted into the A's, start laying the foundation for a championship program and dynasty. It's our time. We're getting towards 20 years of being a head coaches with Journeyman. Let's take a look. This is episode 19, right? 19 years we've been a head coach, and we've only been to the Final Four one time. Everyone knows we're a good coach, but it's like we're that one good coach that's never won a national championship. You really need to solidify your career. Like, that title means something. Now I want to. I've played through all this history, guys. I need that dub. So let's see what they said. Did they approve it? They denied it. They think it's fine. Okay, guys, we're at the end of this season. We're gonna move on to the start of the next season. We're at 83 prestige right now. We're bringing in 3 really good recruits. I don't think it's enough for the second year, but it should be a really good foundation. If we get lucky, maybe it's enough. But I think with 4 scholarships and some of these guys staying, when we stack these recruiting classes together, then we're going to be unstoppable. So, all right, boys, let me get to the start of the new season, and we'll get going there. All right, boys, here we are at the start of a new season, 2039, Arkansas. Let's see these emails. Budget. We have 5 scholarships. That's what's up. But we're probably... Well, actually, we can use one on a senior to help improve the team right now and have those 5 scholarships. And then with the guys who stay with this recruiting class, guys, we're going to build a nice foundation for next year. A top 6 recruiting class. We just got pushed out. We beat Clemson, though. That's good. And then this would have been a better class if Florida didn't take our dude. But, hey, Can't win them all, right? So here we are. Let's go ahead and buy our reports before we get a look into the transfer portal and take a look at our boys. Again, premium national report, premium Southeast report still leaves us over 100,000. We're golden, guys. So, all right, let me go ahead and advance, and I'll see you guys at the transfer portal. We'll take a look, an initial look at the freshmen that we brought, and we'll see what we can do, who transfers, what we can bring in depth-wise, and go from there, boys. All right, boys, welcome back. We're at the transfer portal. The roster's looking a little thin, so obviously some guys have transferred, and you can gotta get an initial look at these freshmen right here, and two of them are absolute studs right here, so we're gonna sort them out. James York, instantly 4.5 star out of 5-star caliber player, bucket getter and a defender. Look at the scoring, the defense. This guy has an outside shot. This guy's gonna be our primary scorer probably for the team. Man, I really hope he stays. He wants to play. He's hated popularity. Oh, he's like one of those bad guys. Hey, we like a little bit of the booze in the crowd, you know, on the away. That's our identity here at Arkansas. You know, tough defense, bucket getters. So I like him. And then Jared McKinley. He is also another stud, 4.5 star out of 5-star. He is ranked 30. He is more likely to play. He's not friendly. He wants to play. He's popular. This guy is an overall great player. I mean, the scoring is there. He can stretch. He can be a stretch for rebounding, defense. I mean, everything that you want in a player, you got right there. So, and then we got Andy Kennedy, who has 5-star potential, but right now he might be a little bit underdeveloped. He's really good rebounding. He just got to work on his defense and scoring a little bit, but he could develop into a really good player. This is a guy that is going to probably be with the program all 4 years, and overall we'll see him hit this 5-star potential. I don't know if he is the starting center on a championship roster, but he could be some good depth piece. He could definitely develop into that dude. So we have a center, power forward locked up. Our front court is good. We have center and power forward locked up. Brian, I guess he could be a good fill-in right now, but we want to get better at small forward, and we also need some depth here in the guard position. I guess Chad Williams is still going to be the starter. Hopefully he can just facilitate the offense. And you know, this is not a championship worthy team, but you know, you might be able to make some splash. You know, says we're ranked 8th. You know, I think that's a little questionable, but maybe I'm undervaluing the team a little bit. We're ranked 8 in the preseason, you know, polls. Is Clemson here too? Yeah, right up here with Clemson, with our former school. Florida's going to be really good. I know they got Vic Henderson, who was a top recruit. It's going to be an interesting year. The board definitely has high expectations. Let's get into the transfer portal a little bit, guys. Let's see. We lost 3. Okay, we lost Mike Blanks, who was the starter, but we did bring in, you know, that 5-star. So we're going to have to take a look at some forwards. We definitely lost 2 forwards. Guys, we have a lot of scholarships here. So, I mean, we have the opportunity to bring in some quality players through the transfer portal, because we already had 5 scholarships from seniors, and now we opened up 3. I'm going to be able to fill this roster with my players really soon. So I'm going to go and find 3 really impactful players that I can bring in at positions that are needed at strength. Like, if we can get a better point guard somehow, I'm doing it. But shooting guard, power forward locked up. Center's pretty much locked up. I want my freshmen to develop, but you know, if we can get a 5-star like right now center, who's like can transfer and can like help us win right now, that's what we're looking for. I don't mind bringing in some like sophomores or juniors with this, because we're already bringing in a lot of depth. I mean, we're going to bring in 5 freshmen, so like that's already going to be a lot of freshmen. So I can bring in some sophomores or some juniors, but we'll see. Maybe we just go for some depth freshmen a little bit lower down the ladder. But We'll see, boys. I'm going to definitely bring in some transfers here. I'm not going to show the transfer process for this one because it's going to be a pretty big process. But if I make offers or anything huge happens, I'll let you guys know. But things don't usually happen the first week. But basically, I'm going to do a lot of scouting, look at the magazines like I do, and then just try and find the best available players and offer them. All right, boys. Well, here's Neil Brown. You remember him? Yeah, he's transferred from Clemson. This used to be our boy, and he's hot on us. And he's a small forward. That fills the need. He's pretty good scoring offense, good defense. He's a guy that I recruited. It makes sense. Neil Brown, we're going to give him the offer at small forward. Might look for some other small forwards, maybe some seniors. Just kind of filling out the depth here, guys. So I'll pick you guys up with who we pick up, and we'll go from there. All right, boys, we got 3 commits. Unfortunately, it's not Neil Brown, so we don't get the small forward that we target, but we get Corey Smith, and Terrell Barksdale and Rob Bennett here. Some funny names. Neil Brown, he ends up going to Oregon, so that's his choice. He wants to go play for Oregon, fine. But let's take a look at the transfers that we brought in. Some really good depth. So we brought in Terrell Barkside here. He's a senior. And really, I brought it in for some depth here at guard position. One of these point guards can help out here. But he has the defender bad. He's just a really good defender, good passer, good ball handler, has a good outside shot. We'll get his scholarship to use on a freshman. He's athletic. And, I want people off the bench who can play some defense while our starters rest. So I think he just fits the role perfectly. Rob Bennett is actually a really good small forward that we targeted here. He's a junior. He's a good guy. He wants to play. He was from Little Rock, right? So a little bit of homegrown Arkansas kind of team, right? He was a freshman of the year, first team player of the year. Like, he's really good. He's stepping up a level, and he's playing at our level. I don't think he's the solution forever at small forward on a championship team, but I think he's a really, really good option that we got right now. And I don't think I can find anything better in the transfer portal at this very moment. I also brought in another senior, Corey Smith. Now, this dude right here is probably going to challenge for starting minutes against my freshmen. He's been first team. He's been all conference in the AAC all the time. He scores 16 points per game. This guy's a 16-6 kind of guy, and he has a lot of experience from Central Florida. So I want a chance at winning a championship or give this team the best chance, and I don't know if in the future, it's probably best to have this guy develop. But for right now, Corey Smith is looking like the starter, but it's tough, right? I don't want to – he's not too concerned about playing time, so that's good. So he can be the immediate backup. And Robert Flores, well, he can just kind of, sail off into the sunset. He was just a guy that we ended up here. So that's a good 2-punch combo. So now we can just look at getting a little bit more depth at guard I think we're good at forward, so maybe just a little bit more guard depth. I'll go ahead and fill that position, guys. But, the team so far is looking pretty good. We should be really competitive. We're ranked 8th preseason. I feel like we fielded just as good as rosters at Clemson, right? Maybe even better rosters at Clemson. So, but I don't think... I think we'll be able to get more Jared McKinleys and some more James Yorks, in the future. We'll be able to keep piling on these guys and just build an unstoppable program eventually. So, all right, guys, enough of me blabbing, but that's a pretty good report. I'm going to get on with the transfer portal. I'll show you what guard I bring in for some depth, and we'll get into regular season recruiting. That's going to be really exciting, and then we can get into the games. These next few episodes and season, guys, for the loyal fans who have been watching, we're getting closer to that championship, so stay tuned. All right, boys, so we just pick up this Rick Mouton guy. He was a 4-star, but I don't think he's as good as what we looked at. Yeah, he's actually a 2-star with 4-star potential. He's average and wants to play. Maybe he develops into something. Unfortunately, I committed the scholarship to him, but that's okay. We have a lot of seniors, and we're going to get 5 scholarships back, so... He's just going to be some good depth piece. He wants to play. He could transfer again if he doesn't get the playing time. He'll always be a little bit of a backup piece. He might not even be good enough to make any minutes on the team. But You know, I'm happy with the roster that we fielded for right now. Chad Williams is going to be a starter. James York and Jared McKinley, the two stud freshmen. Rob Bennett, the transfer, is going to come in and hold down the small forward position. And then we're still looking at a battle here at center between Andy Kennedy and Corey Smith. Haven't made up my mind, but we'll see. Definitely don't believe we can win the championship. I think we would just fall just short. I do think we can make a Sweet 16, so maybe we can actually meet the board's expectation. Really, it's all depending on James York and Jared McKinley's ability to carry us. And as long as we can have some decent depth players and role players, and if James York and Jared McKinley don't leave us after the first year, and we can add a recruiting class on top of this, you know, yeah, we lose Chad Williams, that's okay. We'll replace him. You know, if we can add another 5 elite players on top of this, sky's the limit. So anyways, guys, I'm going to get through the rest of the transfer portal, and I'll see you guys at the start of high school recruiting. All right, boys, we are back, and we are at the end of the transfer portal, so we can go ahead and just delete all these emails. Let's take a look at the team after, like, the reevaluation. Jared McKinley, still that 4.5-star beast. Looks like James York maybe fell back down to earth a little bit. 4 stars, still an absolute stud, still going to be our best player. Maybe just not as great as a rebounder as we saw him before. Anyways, he's a bucket getter, and he plays solid defense for us. Still going to be one of our best players, but maybe just have more work to do than we think. Okay, Rick Mutin was not the play. This guy is taking up a scholarship, and he's not that good, so I kind of regret that, but you live and you learn, right? You get stuck. Maybe he develops to a nice depth option. But, you know, Chad Williams, and then I like Terry Barksdale still. I think this is probably one of my best transfers that I got. Good outside shot. I mean, he's a 60 in scoring. He's not in the 70s, but, I mean, he's good enough. And defense, for somebody coming off the bench, you know, yeah, it's going to be good enough. And Rob Bennett, not as good as a player as we thought. That sucks. 2.5 stars out of 3. Man, those ratings can be really deceptive, right? But he's proven that he can score the rock, right? Like at a lower conference, he gets up points per game. Hopefully that translate. We'll see. We'll see what we have to do about that position. Still, Jared McKinley is looking like the stud. Still looking like the guy that he's going to be. Hopefully he doesn't, you know, leave us after the first year. And then, honestly, Andy Kennedy, he went down just a little bit. He's still going to need some development. So, looks like Corey Smith, the senior, is going to get the start. And he's going to be one of our better players. So, I'm actually happy that I brought him in. And I'm honestly happy. So, sometimes seniors, they end up being better than, like, the sophomores and the juniors that you gamble on. That's why I like going for senior transfer guys. Because you just see right here, Rick Mutin went down. Rob Bennett went down, but like the seniors that I went after, you got a good idea of who you're getting with the seniors. So, not looking like a Sweet 16 team still, but you know, I guess I could be surprised. But really, we need these guys to stay, develop a year, bring in another great recruiting class. We're gonna go through all the camps, right? We're just gonna have just under 100,000, which is gonna be plenty. We're going to get into recruiting. We're going to grab one of every position. We're going to try to improve at every position. And hopefully these guys don't leave. Stack recruiting classes. And hopefully within the next few episodes, guys, we just have stacked so much talent that we're going to win a championship. So I will see you guys at high school recruiting. You guys know how I do recruiting. I'm going to just put the players on there, recruit them, and I'll give you guys the highlights who we'll go after when we get there. So see y'all in a minute. All right, boys, I wanted to bring you back. I got my first offer out here, a top 25 player, ranked in the top 15 overall in the class. He's hot on us. We're number 1 on his list. I think this is an easy grab. So when you got easy players like this, you're going to go ahead and give him the offer. This guy is going to build depth along with James York in case James York decides to leave. And we're still targeting a bunch of high-profile recruits. I mean, he's a high-profile recruit, too. If we're number 1 on his list, I want to give him the offer. He's a really good player. And we'll see if he won and done's with us, but he's definitely good enough to get the offer. So He's going to be our first offer at shooting guard, so we're doing good there. We still are looking at all the other positions, but we're kind of seeing how recruiting's playing out. We want to shoot for some bigger fish this year, but we're okay with getting some players that can be good starters, maybe some role players on a championship team, but we'll get there. But Damon Johnson, definitely happy that we're number one and we have an offer. It should be a pretty easy recruit to pick up. So I'm going to keep recruiting guys, and we'll see how we end up. All right, boys, I think we got our next offer. Ed Butler, he's rated as 4-star. He's about 30. He's about the same as Jared McKinley was, but top 5 Memphis, top 25 Indy. He's hot on us right now. I think that's an easy scholarship. He's a good package to add. I don't know if he's the best out there, but he's a good player and a good one that we can get. So we don't want to gamble too much. We can maybe gamble on like one scholarship or 2 scholarships at the beginning, but we want these guys as solid foundation. So power forward Ed Butler, he should be good depth piece, good anything if he needs to start. I really like this guy, so happy to bring him in. All right, boys, we're at August 21st, where the interest starts to sway and dip and starts to lean a little bit. Top 10 player in the camp, one of the best players in the region as well. We're hot, number 1. Point guard, easy scholarship offer, guys. These are kind of players that you keep bringing in year after year, and it'll get you elevated to the point where you're going to bring in the elite 5 stars, the 5 stars of the 5 stars. This guy, top 10 player, really great pickup for us. So we have a point guard, a shooting guard, and a power forward. We would like a small forward, and I haven't really found a lot of good options at center, so we might double up on guard or power forward and just move on from there. I would like to take a home run shot at like a prospect that's like certainly out of reach, but it's also a little bit risky, but you also have to risk it for the biscuit to be number 1. So we might try an elite recruit to see if we can go not even in his top 10 and just soar up, but BJ Bailey's absolutely a safe pick right now, and is going to be a really good player. So I'll keep on recruiting here, boys. We're getting really, really close. This class is really, really important, so I'm taking my time with this one. So if I offer any more scholarships, I'll let y'all know. All right, guys, and you know what? I said we were going to try and shoot for a home run. I think this year we're going to shoot for the MVP, Indy Elite MVP again, and we're just going to give it our best shot. We have conference league facilities. We have the prestige. We can give them the playing time. We can give them everything here. We're going to give them a scholarship where it's going to be a super long shot, just like Vic Henderson last year was a long shot. But if we land this guy, boy, does it increase your chances of winning a national championship. So you can kind of plan that we're not going to get this guy, but this guy's going to be the home run dude that I'm going to go after. And then I'm going to find another, like either small forward or best available player that we can bring in and just beast it out. So this is going to be our home run, go in, all in. Hopefully he commits first week, or like we gain some interest. If not, we're probably not going to get him, but you have to try. If you have the MVP of the Indy Elite, he is the best player. He is the best of the best, and he will absolutely change your team around. So I'm going to go ahead and pause, guys, get through recruiting, and pray for me, boys. Hopefully we can get Murray Gilmore here. If not, we'll just move on. We have a good power forward option right now, but you got to shoot for the stars now. All right, boys, here we are. We're at the first day of in-home visits. I haven't declared our in-home visits yet. This guy committed to Texas. I actually got warm on this guy. This guy's giving me interest, guys. I'm thinking like, oh, we could get the number 1 recruit in the country. We have a chance to like sway him. Do we take the opportunity? We don't want to squander what we currently got. Let's go ahead and look at the recruits that we have offered and definitely offer the ones that we know we can get. Damon Johnson for sure is a huge, huge pickup for us. We're going to pitch him on prestige. Hopefully he commits day 1. Bailey as well. We're going for him. We're number 1 on his list right now. We're going to pitch him on what he wants to hear. And then same thing with Ed Butler. He's climbed up there. He's number 1. This is basically our guaranteed recruits. The recruits that I think for sure are going to come. Now, that's basically 3. And then we said we were going to gamble on Gilmore. But do we gamble on Gilmore, who's the MVP, or do we gamble on the other one? You know what, guys? I'm going to stick to my guts. We're going to gamble on Gilmore. Those are going to be our 4 visits. I have one more scholarship, and that's basically to try and pick up somebody in here if Gilmore falls off, if, you know, somebody else here falls off. I like this center, Jonathan Tucker. We're number 1 on his list. I might give him the offer, honestly, just to have it out. But I don't know. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to hold and see. I'm going to try and shoot for somebody bigger, you know. We really want Murphy Gilmore. We know we can get these 3. And then we're going to try and shoot for some stars. And if not, we'll settle. But we really want to try and land a super prospect, you know, like somebody who can really change our program within the next few years. All right, boys, let's see what happens. Y'all saw who I was going to go after. I'll see you guys when I get to the next week and the decisions, and we'll go from there. All right, boys, we're back. We got 3 decisions from the 3 people who I think are going to insta-commit, and Murray Gilmore didn't commit yet. So that's either a good sign that we're wasting our time or it's a bad sign. So Ed Butler, impressed. I'm pretty sure all 3 of these are going to be commits. We were number 1 on their list. We offered them. We visited them. They're going to be commits. Murray Gilmore, something about him said he was impressed. And he's looking forward to it, and maybe we can come up. We're on scheduling. Let's just see if we got these clean sweep. We knew we were going to get those guys. We were number 1 and hot on those lists. It still doesn't make it any less more satisfying. But let's go ahead and see where Murray Gilmore is. The number 1 recruit in the country is hot on us now. We're climbing. We're not on his top 10, but we're hot. We're still going to pitch him. We got to keep trying. We got to see if we can convince him. If not, now we're going for, who do we go after, boys? Clifford as well. This guy was a top 10 player as well. We only have 1 scholarship. Do we go for the guarantee or do we go for a Hail Mary? I think Jonathan's still here. He is moving up on other schools, but I think we need to go for a Hail Mary, guys. I think we need to try and secure one of these top 10 players. Maybe we don't go after the top. Maybe we go after Clifford. Yeah, we're going to go after Clifford, guys. We're going to offer him and give him prestige too. One of these guys can play center. Hopefully we can make some progress. And then let's visit Jonathan to keep this guy as a good backup. Hopefully he doesn't commit to Charleston or somebody who's giving him a scholarship right now. And is there another like decent backup that we can have, like Robbie Reese? Yeah, like this guy would be a freaking starter, let alone backup. Let's go ahead and try and keep him interested. Guys, right now, we really just want Murray Gilmore or Clifford, and then we would be good. I like the 3 that we brought in. Murray is honestly our long shot jewel. We went hot, but there's so many schools that we have to fight against, so I don't think we have a great chance at it. But we're going to try. Hopefully, maybe we land Clifford. He's a good consolation prize. It's not a consolation. He's a great player, but there's already a lot of teams hot on him. I'm already recruiting him hard. But hey, the 3 guys that we got are absolute studs and beasts. So let's just go ahead and take a look at that really quick, and we'll take a look at the schedule as well. But you know, 2 5-stars and a borderline 4-star who should basically be a 5-star. He's top 25, really good. You know, BJ Bailey and Damon Johnson is like that next step up that we're taking. Hopefully at a increasing the level of player that we're getting. We really want one of these guys. Robbie Reese would be. Man, this guy would have been pretty good to just pick up too. Honestly, he's more hot on us. Maybe we should have went with him, but it's too late now, boys. We're committed, so let's take a look at the schedule, and then we'll see what happens with the players that we get. But I like the recruiting class so far. The schedule is, we're in the Coaches Classic first, and then pretty favorable, pretty decent teams. Tough road game on the road. Other than that, pretty decent. All right, guys, I'm going to pause it here. That's our schedule. We'll see which recruits we end up with, and we'll go from there. It's been an interesting recruiting class. This is definitely going to be a nice, solid foundation for what's to come. We keep bringing in players like this, we'll do well eventually. Boys, we got some big news. I know you guys haven't seen the decision, but I already saw it because it gave a sneak peek. Murray Gilmore, the MVP, the most valuable player at the most elite camp, which in my eyes makes you the number one prospect in the nation, has committed to the University of Arkansas to play for us next year. Boys, right there, with that one player, has secured our championship dreams. This guy, Murray Gilmore, is going to be responsible for us becoming champions if we become it. When you land the MVP, you have such a good shot. I was just taking a look at the Norton candidate guys. Remember Vic Henderson, the guy we were going about? He's the preseason favorite to be the player of the year. So, and he was also the MVP. So, getting the MVP, you're getting a top 5 player for sure. So, wow, Murray Gilmore commits. Clifford, he goes to Purdue. You know, we were late on him. That's fine. We still have another scholarship, but wow. Guys, we just landed, and remember, whoa, so many commitments. You guys can take a look at all the commitments. Coop here, and I'm so glad that we stuck on Gilmore and that we decided to just go for it, right? You need to go for it when you have a chance with just prestige and location, and he commits to Arkansas to be a hog, to rebuild the program, and to bring the championship home to Arkansas. It's going to be great, you know. So he didn't have interest at the beginning, so we got to watch that 2.8 GPA. You know, we have a 920. He should make 920. He should definitely make 920 with a 2.8 GPA. I'm not super worried. We should be fine. It would be absolute cheese if the game didn't let him qualify. So really, really happy with the result. We got the best player in this class, in my opinion, in Murray Gilmore, MVP. And pairing him along with all these other complementary assets, we have a championship roster. Now, unfortunately, Jonathan Tucker, he did commit to Charleston. I should have gave this guy the scholarship. We were so close. So we lose out on our good center. And there's not a lot left to offer. You can see here we have Chris Harris, who was decent in the top 25 in Indy as like a small forward kind of depth play. Do we really want to bring this guy in? Or Dwayne Brown, you know, from Georgia. Top 5 and top 25 in Indy. Actually, this guy is a lot better. This guy could play small forward. You know, he's only 6'8". He could be a good depth piece. Top 25 in Indy, top 5 in Memphis, you know. This guy might be a 4-year player, and he could be a depth kind of player. We'll give him the offer if he wants to come. And if he doesn't like it here, well, then you can transfer. I'm okay with that, guys. But take a look at this high school recruiting class. The best recruiting class that we have pulled in by far in the episode. The number 2 overall player, in my eyes, the number 1 overall player. Convinced him from no interest, nowhere in his top 10, to now he's committed to the Arkansas, to the dream of bringing the championship home here. Boys, I am super excited. Yeah, we have a lot of power forward. Some of these guys can play center. Some of these guys can play small forward, power forward, very versatile position. And then we're just like overlooking Damon Johnson, top 25, like elite top 20 players are coming. And put this foundation with the guys that we currently have and the guys that we can bring in through the transfer portal. We need to win we need to make a serious championship run next year. Like, none of this Clemsoning stuff, getting knocked down in the Sweet 16. Like, this right here is absolutely a championship roster with the guys that we have currently, as long as they stay. All right, guys, that's going to be it for recruiting. Let's go ahead. It's been a little over 30 minutes. Let's get into some games. I'm super excited for the next episodes when we bring in these boys, but you know what? For this episode, we need to focus on the boys that we already have. You know, what can Jared McKinley and Jamie Orks, Chad Williams, what can this team do? It's interesting. You know, everybody's going to look forward to what we're bringing in and, you know, the talent that we are going to have next year. But what about what we have now? Look at that, 94 points, guys. 94 points. We're gonna have the #1 recruiting class for sure, unless like one of these guys just adds an insane amount of 5 stars. But I'll take my recruiting class over their recruiting class any day. #1 recruiting class in the country so far. Definitely gonna finish top 5, maybe probably top 3. So. All right, no more babbling on. We're going to get through recruiting. We're going to get through practice. We'll set the depth chart together, and then we'll play out the season, and we'll see how this season goes. This is our second year with our first 3 freshmen and a couple transfers that we're bringing in. But once we bring in our next recruiting class, then it's really game on. So this, if anybody's going to get us now, you better get us. You better beat us this season, because next year – it's going to be a completely different story. I know how Murray Gilmore is going to change this program around. One MVP like this can change your whole program around. One MVP turns into multiple MVPs and championships after championships, baby. So I'm going to pause it here, boys, get through the off season, and then we'll set the depth chart together, and we'll go from there. All right, boys, here we are. We're at the start of this season. I know we got a sick recruiting class. Next episode's going to be lit, and even the next one after that's going to be lit because we're going to get even better players. But we got this season to play out still. So preseason number 8, I don't know about that, but we'll see if we can live up to those expectations. Maybe I'm downplaying us. We got Clemson a little bit ahead of us, defending national champions, Iowa, Texas, North Carolina, Florida. It's the typical schools. Texas and North Carolina have been... I don't know how Texas has always been on top for a long time, but they just get recruiting class after recruiting class, but they've kind of really underperformed. You know, maybe eventually in this episode I'll take a look at South Carolina and some of the schools that we've been at before, just kind of see how they're doing. But right now it's all hogs, baby. We're on our way to #1, and it's about time for Journeyman. You know, Journeyman has had quite the journeyman career, if you would call it. 18 years, no national titles, but has had a lot of fun throughout the way. He's had couple 30-win seasons, really, really close on many, many occasions, but just hasn't been able to crack it. But time, right? We're building something special here. Let's take a look at the depth chart, guys. Let's go ahead and build it. Let the AI suggest it, and I'll make my adjustments with you. Chad Williams, James York, and Rob Bennett. That makes sense. This guy was the transfer. Yeah, I guess he has to play. He's shown that he can score points, so I like him playing there. McKinley, so we have our 2 freshmen, James York and McKinley, playing, and it looks like they want to start Andy Kennedy. They want Andy Kennedy to develop and to be able to turn into something, which I think I'm okay with, which is going to let Corey Smith be the main man off the bench, right? A part of me really, really thinks that this guy should be starting for us, but I also do know that we have 1 year with him, and this guy is going to be our future. We could probably get him up to a 3.5 star, 4 star with him playing. Oh, you know what? I'm going to make the executive decision. I know this guy is our 5 star, but Corey Smith is the better player right now. I want him to get the bulk of these center minutes because I want to try to win now, okay? I think it'd be a disservice to the rest of this team to play Andy Kennedy when he can develop off the bench just fine. He's getting 16 minutes. He'll develop. He's not too concerned on playing time. We're going to be winning a good amount of games. So unless he really wants to transfer and just kind of start over, and if he does, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with playing, you know, hopefully McKinley is still here next year, and then we'll have Gilmore come in and play center, or McKinley will play. You know, we have a lot of shifting we can do. But Andy Kennedy coming off, Robert Flores, I guess this is, oh yeah, this is the guy who's the center who's been in here for a while. Probably shouldn't be getting any power forward minutes. I want our power forward minutes to go to somebody. Martin Smith, I'm actually going to sub out with Barkdale because Barkdale has that defender badge. I want him to be playing defense, so we'll re-suggest the matrix. He's playing the point guard minutes. And Brian Braxler, I guess, is getting these minutes. I guess that's fine. So I guess Smith can get some of these minutes as well. So a rotation like this where we have a really competent. We really have a big four, right? Chad Williams, James York, and McKinley are the main pieces, and then you can put Corey Smith as the probably the fourth man there to be, to find some buckets. He has a great inside shot, good rebounding. And then Rob Bennett, he's the weakest link, but he's solid, and he's proven he can score at a lower level. Let's see what he can do. Probably going to be a little bit of liability on defense, but Andy Kennedy coming off the bench, he's going to develop. He was our highly ranked center, but he needs some development still. And then Barksdale the transfer, and just kind of filling out the pieces. We did okay. We got 2 transfers, and then 2 freshmen starting right now. 1 freshman coming off the bench, and Chad Williams, who we inherited. If we can keep if James York wants to stay, he's going to be maybe a bench piece. We'll see how the ratings play out. But if we can keep McKinley and Kennedy, if we can just keep our 3 freshmen and our transfers, and we add this recruiting class, boys, I'm going to tell you, Gilmore's going to do some damage, and so is everybody else. So I'm excited, but this is the squad we're going to roll with. I think James York and McKinley are really going to have to carry the team. Chad Williams didn't really show he could do much scoring-wise. Hopefully we can get stuff out of Rob Bennett and Corey Smith. Hopefully I picked some really good transfers, and hopefully our bench is good enough to not let us down. I don't know what kind of team we are this year. I think we should make the NCAA tournaments. I just don't know if we can actually make the Sweet 16 like our board wants us. But, hey, you never know. But let's go ahead and get into these games. I'll keep you guys here because we're in the postseason tournament, or the Coaches Classic preseason tournament, where we're the second seed in there. There's some pretty tough teams in here. We do have some pretty good early season hype. Let's see how we can handle Iona. They are a lower level school. We should be able to advance. Okay, 110 to 86. James York, Corey Smith, and Jared McKinley. So Corey Smith already looking and making his way, making his worth known that he belonged in the starting lineup. Hopefully that's the right decision there. You know what? I'm just gonna sit here with you guys. We're gonna play it out. Just this will be a nice preview of what the team is, and we'll go from there. We get Richmond next game. So we'll go through that. This is a four team thing. Basically, to get to the Final Four is basically just like one region, right? So now we get Richmond. This is just a nice little baseline to see where the team's at. Who's scoring? Looks like it's going to be James York still. We get Richmond here. It's a closer game than not. So Richmond must have some nice transfers, some good transfer players, veteran players who can give us a run for our money. And they kept it close, but James York, Jared McKinley are 2 freshmen. Andy Kennedy coming off the bench. All 3 freshmen showing up in the box scores, highlights. It's what we love to see. So overall, I think we got a good, solid, overall well-rounded team. How good are we? I'm not sure. We haven't played any really stiff competition, any ranked competition yet. Here's Charleston. They took our center that we really wanted. So let's just kind of take a look at the tournament. It's been kind of upset city. Villanova lost, right? And Cincinnati's out. So, we're kind of the favorites to win this trophy. Hey, a tournament's a tournament. And if they're going to put us in it, we're going to try our best to win it. So, Charleston's 2-0. They've already upset a big school in Villanova. Let's see if they can take us down. But we fight back, We the Hogs. We got James York. We got Andy Kennedy. We got Jared McKinley. Some really stud freshmen along with some pretty good transfers, decent depth pieces. Like I said, they better get us this year because next year we're going to be a problem next year. Look at Vic Henderson being a beast, guys. Vic Henderson's going to be the player of the year, and I tried to recruit him. But if Florida's going to have a chance to win it all, which they definitely do, it's going to run through Vic Henderson. That's what's going to be the toughest for us in the SEC. But okay, same thing with Charleston. They got veteran team, good transfers. Transfer portal's really evened up, recruiting. So let's see, can we handle business? No, we don't. We actually get smoked by Charleston. So we're still a really young team. Losing to Charleston 2-0. They are upsetting a lot of fools. They are proving themselves to be a worthy team. in this little preseason tournament. But anyways, that's going to be the end of that, guys. I mean, a little bit disappointing, right, to not go all the way when all the top seeds are out. But some of these mid-majors, man, they'll catch up on you. You know, they probably got a great, solid roster. James York didn't have a great game, you know. So when James York doesn't have a good game, we're going to struggle a little bit. So anyways, guys, let's get through December before we get into conference play, and let's see how we do. We're going to go through November. We'll get through December. We have some tough games, tough road games, good home games. Let's just take care of business and see where we end up. Like I said, we're probably a top 25 team that can be upset in the tournament, and we can cause some upsets maybe. We really need our other recruiting class to come in and really help us out. But, you know, let's not think about that. Let's give these boys a chance. We've only played 3 games. And let's get after it, and we'll check the stats at the end of December. All right, boys, welcome back. Here we are. We are at January 2nd. We've played a lot of basketball, and we're pretty good. 11-2. We've dropped in ranking a little bit. We're number 11. So since that loss there, we had a pretty good run at home, right? We ran into a ranked Houston team on the road. We just weren't ready. But we bounced back against Central Florida, who we signed one of their transfers. So you know it feels good for him to play that guy. And actually, it's this guy right here, this Corey Smith guy, transfer from Central Florida, actually was the scored the most points there. So look at that. But and then we've won the game since. Our biggest win is at home against Memphis. We've had really good road wins. I mean, just getting wins at Dayton and at Pitt are good. You know, we're getting the job done at home against these bad teams, and then, you know, we beat a top 20 team in our home court. And now we start SEC play, right? So, look, Florida isn't as good as they were, you know. We might have a chance if we want to take a look at the standings really quick. You know, we're up here probably with Auburn and Vanderbilt and all the other good teams. I don't know how Florida's not good, man. They have a really good player. I don't think the recruiting classes around him and the players around him must not be good. But look, Auburn's had 11 home games, so their record's a little skewed. Same thing with ours, but overall pretty good. If we want to take at the national rankings here, Texas, North Carolina on top, BYU a little bit surprising, but other than that, we still got a lot to go. We are in the middle of the pack, which I agree with Clemson as well, in the middle of the top 15, middle of the pack. So we'll see. I think we are a good team. We should make the tournament, and hopefully we can. I think if we make a Sweet 16, that would be pretty good for the school. Anything deeper than that would be pretty surprising. I don't think we're at that level that Texas and North Carolina are at yet. But we will be soon. We will be soon. With these recruiting class, we will be. Let's take a look at the stats really quick and just see who's balling out. James York, as I thought, is the leading scorer with that bucket-getter attribute. I mean, you're getting 14 points a game. And, I mean, he has a lot of talent around him, right? Corey Smith is also doing a lot of work. I am really happy that I put him in the starting lineup over our freshman, even though our freshman, he is going to develop. He doesn't like me, and the relationship's a little bit bad, but he's on a winning team. You have the opportunity to develop and maybe start next year, depending on, you know, the quality of players that we brought in. But Chad Williams is doing better. He's getting 5 assists. He's just doing point guard stuff, right? You know, this is a player that we have inherited, and, you know, he's okay. He's nothing great. He's apparently a bucket getter, but he only gets 9 points a game. I'm not sure how you get the bucket getter attribute. I know he has a lot of talent around him, like Jared McKinley, another freshman. He's a like 10-6, 10-7 kind of guy. Really versatile. For some reason, he's not friendly towards his teammates, but you know, we have a good relationship. And yeah, honestly, the team is pretty solid. I don't think this is a Final Four team. I think this is a Sweet 16 max kind of team, but pretty good. And you know, if these guys stay and we bring in our recruiting class, we got a elite championship roster next year for sure. Let's go ahead and continue on with the rest of the regular season, guys. We're just going to go ahead and sim. You know what? We'll catch up in February. We'll kind of see where we are through this January stretch here, and we'll pick back up. You know what? I'm not going to make a prediction. I'm just going to let the players play it out, and we'll see what happens. I definitely want to be in the top half of the conference, though. We definitely should be winning our home games and contending for these away games. So let's get it, guys. We'll see y'all then. All right, boys, welcome back. We are at February 1st. We've played a lot of games, and if you take a quick look there, we've played pretty well. We start 7-2 through the first 9 games of conference play, and it's done pretty good. We get a good road win against Alabama, get the job done at home. Oh, and look at this. Our Gamecocks, our former team, they beat us in this by 3 points, 1 possession game. Sucks, man. I feel like South Carolina, ever since I left them, and every team I've played, they always got us, man. When I was at Clemson, I feel like they got the best of us more than we got the best of them. Now, I'm starting to feel the same way here. So, anyways, we had a good stretch, got a good win at home against Florida. In this game, Vic Henderson scored 35 points. That was the number 1 recruit I was talking about. He averages 23 points a game. He's a great player, but wasn't good enough to beat us. So we took another close loss. This one's at home. This one hurts a little bit more to Kentucky. They were like 12-6. So we're losing these like 1 possession games besides getting like blown out here. So hopefully now that we have some practice and unity together, let's finish off February strong. Looks like we take a couple more ranked opponents. South Carolina is now ranked. We take on Vanderbilt on the road. Couple road games here. So let's see if we can finish off strong, get into conference play. Let's take a look at the standings and stats really quick. We're second right now. Ooh, South Carolina's 9-0 in conference play. I did not know that. It's my first time taking a look at this. So they are doing really well in the conference. I don't know if they've played some really easy teams, but apparently not. Their net's pretty high. So hey, I'm a Gamecock fan. I know I'm working for Arkansas right now, but if we're gonna lose to South Carolina, at least that's it. Other than that, we should have a pretty good run at the SEC. Let's take a look at the main polls. Probably Texas and North Carolina, right? Ooh, North Carolina's fallen a little bit. Definitely Texas and the Illini are showing that they are a strong team. BYU coming out of the West Coast Conference. So looks like the Big 10, the Big 12, West Coast Conference. West Virginia, another representative. UAB, the Conference USA representative, mid-major, coming in strong at number 6. Wow, and we are just right behind them. So we are a really good team. I really hope we are the 7th ranked team, and caliber-wise, schedule-wise, I hope we are what we are. We should make the tournament, no problem. And I think we're just building for next year as well, because I know they say we're a top 7 team, but it's going to be tough to win it all this year. But next year we have a really good shot with our recruiting class. So. All right, guys, let's take a look at the stats. I think the same guys are going to just be balling out, right? James York and Corey Smith. I'm loving Corey Smith, man. 14 points, senior, 100 inside shooting. Like, when we get this guy the ball, he doesn't miss. He just scores, and he's just a beast, 70% field goal percentage. He rebounds. This guy just does everything right, and we picked him up for his senior year, and that's why I wanted him to start over my freshman, even though my freshman was probably upset, but he's fine. He's playing minutes. Jaron McKinley, the freshman, he's doing good for a freshman. Hopefully he stays and doesn't declare for the draft, but we have like a big 4 here. Chad Williams is stepping up as well, getting 10 points per game, 10 and 5. Honestly, we have like a big 4 going on here, and Rob Bennett, he does his part. He's a transfer. He is probably like the weakest of the starting bunch, but play some defense, shoot the open bucket when you have it, and you'll be fine. So, all right, guys, let's finish off the season, and let's see how we do. And I'll catch you guys up then. Alright, boys, welcome back. It's March 5th in game, and we're just going to take a quick look of how we finished off. 14-4, not too bad since the start. We dropped 2 games, both on the road. Tennessee was a bad team, so that was kind of rough, and LSU, they were like a 500 team, so you're going to lose games like this, right? You're going to lose your focus, but look at this. 2-point win against ranked Vanderbilt. Nice road win, and then we get our revenge against South Carolina at home, and they're ranked this time. So other than that, you guys can see the wins. We're not going to go over everything. We're actually a pretty decent team. I think we're like an earlier version of one of my Clemson teams that I've seen. I just don't know if a team like this is capable of going deep in the NCAAs. I'm just not sure. We've seen the upsets happen before, right? They're good enough to get these home wins and these regular season wins. But on like a neutral court, right? On a neutral court where everything's fair, like I think we just fall flat sometimes. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. I have an elite recruiting class coming in, and I know you guys are tired of me saying that, but I cannot tell you how much this guy is going to change the game. And this is a championship roster just right here. And then with the transfers and people we have and add in, we got it. So let's take a look at the stats. I really like the transfer that we brought in, Corey Smith. He is leading us in points per game. This guy is dropping 20 bombs, 30 bombs, 30 bombs. Like, this guy was an amazing transfer. It says he's only 3.5 stars, but you got to look, guys, at like how many points is he actually scoring. Okay, he plays for Central Florida. Take that into account. A little bit lower level, but still a high level. Has a lot of points per game and good rebounds. I mean, this guy is a no-brainer to add, and I knew I should have started him over the freshman. I just would be criminal to have this guy come off the bench with 100 shooting. Like, even though he's like he's not maxed out because of defensive ability, and like he's just not like he wasn't purely athletic, but this guy's a stud. James York as well as a freshman, 15 points per game. This guy is he has a defensive badge. He's getting 2 steals. He's a defensive menace. This guy might be freshman of the year in the SEC. 15 points per game. I mean, if he stays with us, he'll be good. Jared McKinley as well, 10-6. Like, we have the nucleus of an elite squad. You know, maybe not with exactly these players, but with these players in addition to some players, we'll be good. You know, we're losing Corey Smith. That's unfortunate. You know, we just get him as a 1-year test ride, and he's really helping our championship aspirations this year. Really big addition. Let's take a look at the standings. I didn't take a look at that. We are the regular season champions because we got the tiebreaker with South Carolina on the last game. We also have an overall better record, so I think that might we went 1-1, right? So there's no tiebreaker. So we've had the better record and the better net. I think it goes based on net. I'm not sure, but we finish our goal. We actually win the conference regular season. That counts for something. That means something to me. So we'll take that in a pretty, I mean, look how many 8 and 10 teams there were, So this middle of the pack was pretty good, but separated kind of right here. We'll take a look at the polls again. It's going to be the same team. Texas probably on top. Texas and the Illini. West Virginia. BYU is still there. UAB. Typical teams, guys. Typical teams. UMass is a little bit surprising, but hey, there we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at these emails. We want to see if anyone declared for the draft from our school. Hey, good news. None of our underclassmen have decided to leave and go pro. So, guys, on top of adding the elite players that we have, we get to keep Jared McKinley, we get to keep James York, and hopefully we get to keep Andy, and Andy will probably develop. James, yeah, he's not transferring. Sometimes your starters transfer, and it's weird, but yeah, I mean, like, Jared might transfer, like, he just might not like his teammates, but I doubt it. So, we're going to be great. We lose Chad Williams. We're going to lose Corey Smith, but we're going to be just fine, and we're going to be really, really good next year. But anyways, let's focus on this year, guys. I'm going to go ahead and sim to our first SEC tournament game. Let's see if we can make a run in the SEC tournament on a neutral court. It'll give us a good idea of where we are. If we can actually make it to the conference championship game on neutral courts, that'll be a good sign. If you want, I know some people like to see the insights, so I'll take a look at the inside. 10th offense, 27th defense. So, I mean, we have what it takes. I think our defense is probably holding us back. We probably need a top 10 defense to be able to compete, but I mean, we have the offense. We have a solid nucleus of players, and I think we'll do good. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to get to the first game, and we'll see what happens, and let's make a deep run. All right, boys, we are here at the start of the SEC tournament. This is going to be a nice little test to see what kind of team we are. Obviously, we finished atop of the regular season. That's with home court advantage. That's with being on the road, but now neutral court, right? Well, what can we do? when it's on neutral court. Actually, everything looks pretty chalk besides Auburn, just slight upset over LSU, but that doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and see what happens. We take on Auburn. They're 21-11 on the year. Let's get the job done. I would like to make it to the championship game in our conference. For once, I think we've had a bad couple years with Clemson, and we just started Arkansas last year. So this year, I would like to have a chance to win it all. I know we are capable of being upset, but I would like this team to show me some things that we're gonna add to this and have some really good results. So let's take care of Auburn. Actually, it's gonna be a dogfight. We're not gonna take care of anybody. Let's just have a good game. Come on, boys. All right, there we go. That's a really good way to start it off. Andy Kennedy on top of everything coming off the bench. It shows how deep we are. And finally, we get through the first round. Now we're at the second round. Let's not celebrate. We're just in the semifinals. We get Vanderbilt and Florida and South Carolina are still in. So all the top seeds get through, I believe. I believe that's what that would be. Yeah. Okay, Vanderbilt over Kentucky. Slight upset, but Vanderbilt's still very good. And then we'll get South Carolina or Florida. So we'll see what happens. We could meet our former team in the SEC Conference Tournament Championship game. That would be really, really cool. Florida as well. I mean, they're a really good team. They have one of our recruits that we wanted last year. So, but hey, let's not overlook Vanderbilt. They're a really good team. This Robert Cabrera guy has averaging 18 and 11. He has a double-double for Vanderbilt. He's really what makes Vanderbilt good. Let's see how we compete. We can't compete, man. He took care of us. He got 22 and 13, and we lose by 10. So we go out in the semifinal. So I think my prediction was right. I just don't think we're there yet. We are capable of being upset by these top teams in the 20s and 30s, right? 20s, 30s, and 40s, even though they say we're a top 17. It just doesn't feel like it, right? I think with the pieces that we add in, they should add a lot of help, and we should be championship worthy next episode, which makes me want to really get to next episode. But let's see who wins the SEC. We'll get to selection show. Let's give these guys a chance to make a nice run in the NCAAs. I don't think we can win it all unless a lot of things go our way and we get really lucky. But you never know, right? You never know. That's why you play the games. That's why you go through the tournaments. Next year, next episode, guys, will be our serious, legit, real shot at the national championship that we've ever had in the series. So I'm going to get that out to you guys as soon as possible, really, really soon. But first, let's finish this off. I'm going to pause. We'll get to selection show, and we'll get going from there. So I will see you guys there. Alright, boys, here we are at the selection show. You know how I like to do it. We'll go through it pretty quickly. Y'all can see the teams. Y'all want to pause and take a look at any records or matchups, that's fine, but I want to get through it pretty quickly. The Illini get the number 1 seed in North Carolina with the 2 defending national champions, Iowa, in there. So, interesting little region. I believe we should be a 1 or a 2 seed. Probably a 2 seed, right? Since we got knocked out. But you never know. BYU gets a 1. K-State. And look at that. Vanderbilt ended up winning the SEC. They beat Florida in the championship game. So I didn't show you guys that. But that's what happened. So they get a 4 after all that. South Carolina gets in. A little SEC blood might happen there. But, okay, West Virginia, Houston. So we're not in this region, so we're in the last region. Purdue, Charleston, KU, Arizona is in there. So Texas, so are we this 2 seed? So we would have to play Texas. That's tough. Number 1. Yeah, we are the 2 seed here. So we get New Mexico State. Should be an easy first round. Never say never, though. Never say easy, though, but we'll see if we can make it out of the first round. And who would be our second round opponent? It would either be UMass or Northern Colorado. So honestly, those are kind of favorable. Actually, those are not really that favorable draws. Both 26-win teams and their mid-majors. Those mid-majors, man, they get those transfers and they got something to prove. Like they're tough teams, and Clemson is in this region, so that's kind of fun. So that circles and ends it out. Guys, I will see y'all when we get to our first game. No expectations. You know, the board wants to reach the Sweet 16. I think we have definitely a good shot of doing that. And honestly, I would be a little bit disappointed if we didn't. So I think getting to the Sweet 16, anything after that is pretty piece of cake. We've reached all our goals. We're going to maintain the prestige. We won the regular season, 20 games. We signed 5 stars. This is, you know, the last goal. This is just will help our prestige increase. But we have Arkansas in a great path right now. Next year, guys, I promise you, is going to be a super, super good year. And I can't wait to get that episode out to you guys. So, anyways, I'm going to get to our first game, and we'll sim from there. All right, boys. Here we are. We're at the first game, March 17th, the start of March Madness. We had the first week games go on, and now we get New Mexico State. We should be heavily favored. Let's not drop the first week game, but let's see if we can get out of the first weekend. You know, so we got this game, and then we'll have the next game coming up against either UMass or Northern Colorado. Let's just make sure we take care of New Mexico State, right? You know, we had a tough run in against Vanderbilt. Very, very tough team, you know. We should be able to handle New Mexico State, right? Like Auburn is tougher than New Mexico State, in my opinion, right? So let's go. Don't lose. Come on, don't lose. There we go. Yeah, we ain't losing. 102-64. What a game. What a showcase for the team to really show the level difference, you know. Like, yeah, losing to Vanderbilt. They're like, you lost to Vanderbilt. But, like, you know, Vanderbilt's a really good team. And, look, Vanderbilt is playing South Carolina in the 5 versus 4 matchup over there. So, little SEC on SEC blood. And we're gonna get UMass. If you guys see right here, we're gonna get UMass. So we'll go ahead and sim. Vanderbilt takes care of South Carolina, so the SEC champion is off to the Sweet 16. So they move on. We're into the round of 32, but we want to at least get to the Sweet 16. UMass is a tough team, mid-major team, probably feels underrated and disrespected. You know, they have just as many wins as us, but we've played much harder competition, obviously. Let's get to the top-ranked games here. There's some teams missing. We'll take a look at that later. But, you know, us versus UMass, it's probably a very close game. Yeah, 5-point game. I mean, UMass could definitely beat us. They have the roster to beat us. Let's just see if we can get to the Sweet 16, boys. It would be such an awesome feat, you know. We've shown that we're good enough. Let's see if we can take care of business. No, we cannot, guys. We lose by 8 to UMass, and we get slightly upset. I mean, it is an upset. We get upset in the second round. We don't even make the Sweet 16. I told you guys. I told you, even though we're good. Look at that. Clemson also gave Texas a 1-point game. It's so close now. With the transfer portal, it's so close. Because any school can get these 4- and 5-star players over time. It just makes the game so close. And it makes it so much harder to win a championship. But, wow, we'll take a look at the Sweet 16 really quick. Illinois, this is pretty chalky besides Syracuse losing. I'll let you guys take a look at the bracket. BYU still in it. K-State gets upset, so we're not the only 2 seed to go down. Colorado goes down. This is pretty chalky. And, Cincinnati is an 11 seed, and Colorado State, who got a 3, got upset. I mean, this is crazy. So, Cincinnati double-digit seed in. UMass as a 7 upsets us. That's tough, right? That's tough. I just knew we were missing that star element on a neutral court, you know? That star is going to take over the game on a neutral court. We just don't have that. And Clemson, you know, an unranked Clemson gave Texas everything they can handle, so just shows you how hard these games could be. But anyways, guys, we'll check in at the Final Four. We're going to let the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 play out, and we'll check in like we'll do. We'll look at the lower level tournaments, and declare a champion. We're going to end this episode. Obviously, not national champions, not SEC champions, just another good building block year. We return the whole team as long as they don't transfer, and we bring in an elite recruiting class. And next year, it's national title for sure. We have to go for the national championship with the MVP and the class that we're bringing and the class that we have right now. It has to be the championship. So we'll get to the end of this season, guys, and I'll see y'all there. All right, boys, welcome back. You know how we do it here. We pay homage to the lower level tournaments. Congrats to St. Mary. It's hilarious that Kentucky is in here. Same thing with Wisconsin. We almost took that job, but St. Mary's the NIT. Honestly, these lower level tournaments are hard to win too. You need to have a good team. I'm telling you, with the transfer portal, these small schools can just build such good rosters. CBI goes to Bucknell. They beat Loyola Chicago. That was a weirder tournament. CIT goes to Morehead State. Congrats to them. But here we are, guys. Let's go take a recap of what happened. Oh my, Illinois and North Carolina in the Elite Eight played a 1-point game. Crazy. Illinois moves through. BYU gets upset by Vanderbilt, and Southern Cal gets through, and Vanderbilt loses to Southern Cal. So Southern Cal, as a 6th seed, is into the Final Four. Wow, that's pretty surprising. Good for them. And Vanderbilt beating the number 1 seed. I mean, it just shows you just how tough these teams can be. I mean, it's just so hard to win a championship. Like, you can be a number 1 team. You really have to have the talent and get lucky. West Virginia takes care of Florida. They really take care of it. West Virginia has probably been the most consistent team. I don't know if it's just their path, but they've just kind of been pretty comfortable. Florida took care of Houston, and Iowa's not in here, so we are going to have a new champion. Texas, they basically took care of business since they've had that close game against Clemson. They basically got gifted UMass from us, so we really need to elevate. I mean, we're losing teams like UMass, you know, like we gotta up our game, we gotta up our recruiting, and we'll get there. So Texas is on the verge of claiming another national championship. Illinois has won a national championship in the save. West Virginia has not, and Southern Cal has not. So we're gonna see what happens. It's been a long time for Texas and Illinois, though. But let's see what happens. Let's get to a championship game. West Virginia beats Texas, so it's not going to happen for Texas. I know West Virginia hasn't won a championship. I'm pretty sure in my save, at least in my save. I don't think they have in real life either. But wow, Texas, they get stopped by their fellow Big 12 folk. And Illinois beat Southern Cal. Southern Cal put up a hell of an effort, but we're going to have Illinois versus West Virginia. Let's take a look at the almanac. Illinois has not won it since 2025, about 15 years in saves. They did have a runner-up. We could take a look at their Final Four history, but that's not necessary. West Virginia, they haven't even been here in a championship game, first championship game in my save. Let's see what happens. These guys were probably 2 and 3, right? Yeah, Illinois 2 and 4 actually. I mean, they're both top of the food chain right now, so still top of the food chain is in the game. Just a couple upsets through the Southern Cal. Congrats to them. That was a deep run, but all right, let's declare a champion. And West Virginia throttles Illinois to finally raise a trophy, bring it to Morgantown, West Virginia. They are your 2039 national champions over Illinois, and Illinois still suffers the drought. Another finals loss on the book for them. So West Virginia is going to close out the 2030s decade, because the next season is going to start 2040. Hopefully we can start that off with Arkansas being the champion, but we'll see. But West Virginia gets it done. You can take a look at the recap here. The only double champ was UConn back-to-back. St. Mary was kind of a surprise. Michigan and Texas started it off. So it's crazy. Purdue is the only team in my save to win in both decades, in 2028 and 2036. There hasn't been another team. North Carolina has really fallen off. They had a championship game in the decade, but they haven't been there since. Gonzaga has also really fallen off. Alabama, they had a championship game, so they're still there. San Diego State we haven't seen, but we know they're good. Florida State is a school that we don't really see anymore. Colorado as well. But hopefully we can start the 2040 season with an Arkansas National Championship. That is my goal for sure. Let's get to these awards. And guys, we'll end this episode. Unfortunately, we're not the national champions, but next season is going to be our best chance at it. I'm so excited, and I promise I'm going to get that out to you within a day because I am excited to play. Texas, they win it. West Virginia, yeah, they have this defensive player of the year. This guy was kind of a menace. Look at Vanderbilt. They get the player of the year for Vanderbilt. He gets the Norton Award. That's why Vanderbilt was so good, man. This guy is so hard to beat. I think we could probably beat any other team in the SEC but him. But congrats. Look at Vic Henderson from Florida, the guy that we wanted. He's a first-team All-American. We're not in sight. Let's just take a look at the SEC awards. We don't even get Coach of the Year. I guess that's understandable. It's a tough conference, right? There we go. James York, as a freshman, he's a first-team All-SEC, and he's coming back. So he's going to be a huge addition to the team next year. And other than that, we get the one award. We'll get to the job offers, and we're not accepting another job. We're just going to sim right on through. And guys, actually, I'm just going to call the episode there, guys, because honestly, I want to get started on the next episode as soon as I can. I'm basically going to take a quick dinner break. It's 5 o'clock right now. I'm going to take a quick dinner break, and we're going to record the next episode because I know for a fact from here on out, we're going to have our best chances to win the national championship coming up. So, boys, I just want to see what happens at the season recap, how much prestige we went up by, and we'll go from there. So once that loads, I'll bring you guys there. All right, boys, here we are. We're at the recap in the job hiring. We're not going to take a new job. I'm basically here. I'm here for the long run until we win multiple championships. Let's take a look at the review. Ooh, we actually decreased in prestige because we didn't meet the Sweet 16. We kind of underperformed in everything, right? So, but we still kept our job. We still are going to be able to recruit at a very high level. I'm not worried about it. Still the same goals, basically. They're like, we need to get to at least the Sweet 16. That's what kind of a program we are. And I agree. So, we're going to get there. 27-8. Another building block kind of year. 20th year. Can we get a championship on our 20th year? We'll see. Let's just see what jobs would have been open. Florida. Looks like some coaches have retired. Once you kind of get to this stage and this deep, like 20 years in, you'll see a lot of the 5-star schools, they'll want to take you, but also like a lot of the schools are retiring. Or not the schools are retiring, the coaches are retiring. So anyways, we're not switching jobs at all. We're going to go ahead and advance. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and really tune in to episode 20. This episode 20, guys, is going to be our best chance at a national championship. Wouldn't it be crazy if I got knocked out in the first round after hyping this all up for you guys? But I promise you, you're not going to want to miss next episode, and it's going to come out tonight. I promise you it's going to come out tonight. So thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to the legends who always like the video within the first 10 view. You're a freaking legend. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in episode 20.